It's the Super Not Funny Show. Okay, that's awful. Super Not Funny Show. Hey guys. Hey, all you Fabricans, all you fleshbags out there. Welcome to the first episode of the Super
Not
Funny Show.
Yeah.
We're a show where we talk about all things pop culture, all things that interest us, pop culturally at least. And
watch your mouth.
And my name is Mo and Jen Thépuppét, and yes, that is French. And I'm joined by the lovely and the inimitable, the hostess with the
zebra cakes.
Exactly. This is Jen Thépuppét. How you doing, Jen?
Wonderful.
Yeah, it's been a week, eh?
Hey.
Yeah. So you guys don't know us, but we are from America. We are representatives of the Fabrican community, as you can see. But we do have an inclusive show here, and we just want to talk about cool stuff, things that we like to watch, to play, to do. And so we're really interested in all things entertainment and things that just make you smile. So to that end, the format's pretty easy. We are going to talk about the news first in a segment we call New Threads. And then after that, we have a main topic. And then after that, we're going to talk about anything we review or anything we're watching. So, Jen, how about we start talking about the news in a little segment we like to call New Threads.
Good news.
Or maybe not good news. That's the kind of year it's been.
No, just a throw back to the boondocks.
Yeah. Ain't no good news around here. So.
Not always.
Anyway, and I would like to note this is a post-election, American election episode. So thank the Lord that shit's over. Am I right? So we can get on to the really important things in life, which is
puppetry.
Puppetry? You mean Fabrican? Fabrican arts, right?
And farts.
And farts. Oh man. So anyway, I want to talk about some news. Say, Jen, did you know, or have you heard?
Did you know?
Yeah, Jennifer, did you know? Jen, did you know that there is, some kind of bad news for those of us who liked a certain show that was on Hulu. So if you're a fan of the Castle Rock series, I'm sorry to let you know, no more Castle Rock. No.
I'm so sad about this news, Mo.
Yeah.
I was looking forward to the third season.
Well,
I enjoyed the first and second.
Yeah, let's maybe give a little background about the show and how we came to it. What is it? I guess it was 2 years ago. They talked about, expanding, like making a Stephen King inspired show that was in the universe but didn't have anything in particular to do with any book. And so that was Castle Rock. And thanks to the pandemic, actually it wasn't even the pandemic. I think we started watching it last year. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
So they made a first season, and I think it was really an interesting show, but I can see why it didn't garner a huge audience. It's very inside baseball sometimes, and also a little slow burn. But then the second season rolled around, and they dealt almost directly with characters from Misery, and then there was some real supernaturally stuff. It's supposed to be supernatural, but still. Just a lot of interesting stuff, and I was really looking forward to that third season. But,
I wanted some more tying together and where some missing characters were from this season.
Right.
Because I know that it was different seasons, but they were still connected in some way.
Right. Right. Yeah, and they were building to something, I feel like. Even though the two seasons were only loosely connected, just they were taking place in Castle Rock, and they dealt with some characters that we had seen from various Stephen King properties. So it was all very interesting, but as you will hear us say often on this show, fuck COVID, because
I don't know that bitch.
COVID is, if you're paying attention at all to entertainment news, a lot of things are getting canceled because of COVID. And this is one of them. Just didn't have the ratings to justify this expense of going out and, having to do all this COVID stuff, plus, actually pay for the show. So
not enough people gave it a chance.
It's unfortunate. It was very interesting, I think. If you like Stephen King stuff,
so much new stuff came out during the pandemic. They should have just left it alone.
I think they could have.
Everyone catch up on all the crap that's already been on Netflix for years.
Well, I think they could have just shelved it for a year or two and then came back to it when everything's settled, but they just canceled it. And that sucks. But let's be honest. Well, there's just so much shit to watch now. Like, you're getting lost in the sea of entertainment. Am I right?
Always.
So, one less show is... we liked it,
why
but...
the good ones?
Well, we liked it, but, it just wasn't as popular. So, farewell, Castle Rock. You went too soon. And we'll never know what happened to Henry Deaver. So,
Or Henry Beaver.
Henry's Beaver. So, anyway, well, that sucks.
Sick.
Yeah. So, you like the Harry Potter and Fantastic Beasts franchise, right?
It was okay.
Just okay, the Harry Potter or the Fantastic Beasts?
The Fantastic Beasts.
Yeah.
I love Harry Potter.
I think Fantastic Beasts 1 was pretty great. Fantastic Beasts 2 was fine. It had its moments. Why am I talking about this? Well, we're talking about it because Johnny Depp lost his libel case in the UK, and that led to him being asked to step away from his role as Gellert Grindelwald in Fantastic Beasts. So, as of, I think, last Thursday, there is no more Johnny Depp in that franchise. Are we surprised by this? Not really. I'm not. I mean, for me, I was sort of been halfway paying attention to this crap for the past, I don't know, 5-6 months, and
I just like Johnny Depp, and it sucks that this is a thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the idea here is that he's not going to jail or anything, but he's too hot to touch right now if you are a publicly traded company. And, well, why deal with that when you can just recast? That's really the thing. They can recast. So that's what they're going to do. I am not super invested in this, to be honest. All that crap that's going on with J.K. Rowling and trans stuff and cancel culture. And there's so much bullshit attached to Harry Potter that has nothing to do with the actual show. So, but what do you think? I mean, do you care that much about this?
The Johnny Depp thing?
Yeah.
I mean, I do just because I like him as an actor. And I still don't quite understand the full story. I know he is he being charged for hurting someone?
No.
Is it some kind of sexual thing?
He was
abuse. I thought it was abuse.
Yeah, it was like
that's hurting somebody.
Yeah, his ex Amber Heard, they had apparently a contentious, and she accuses him of putting his hands on her.
Right, but he's not been charged with anything.
No, I
just don't agree with the move to just ask him to quit because it's not like it's been proven.
Right. Well, that's the thing about this case is that the UK judge was like, yeah, it's not even liable, and there's enough evidence that you probably did do this shit. So he's not charged with anything. He's not going to jail. He just is too much of a liability PR wise. I mean,
I understand that aspect, but it just sucks. Like, I don't know. I don't know. It's just I don't know how I feel about just canceling people because they fuck up.
Well, when you got potential billions of dollars attached to something, you don't fuck around having somebody you can easily replace. I mean, in the first movie, Keller Grindelwald was masquerading as, I can forget the guy's name, but he was masquerading as an American wizard politician. So, and that was played by Colin Farrell. So, they could bring Colin Farrell back. That would be great. So, I'd be fine with that. I think so. So, but that's the state of it right now. Honestly, between that and COVID, they've pushed it back. So, I mean, we're not going to see this shit for another 2 years at least anyway. So, there you go. That thing happened. So, another thing that's been kind of in the forefront of our minds, because we're such, big moviegoers, right? We go to the movie, or we went to the movies, but,
COVID.
Once again, fuck COVID. Fuck COVID. Our favorite thing to do, which is go to the movies, has been taken away from us.
Favorite things to do.
Well, wow. Anyway, so one of our favorite things to do is go to the movies, and fuck COVID because we can't go to the movie theater. Or we can, but it ain't really anything that we want to go to the movie theater for, right? Well, the bad news continues for the theater industry because this week we learned the quarterly earnings for both AMC and Cinemark, and they were awful. Both companies are trying to raise money through stock offerings and just trying to get some lending money, and they've been doing that all year anyway because they've been operating at a loss because they haven't been open. So, beyond that, something else happened, which is of no surprise if you've been paying any kind of attention to the movie theaters and the way the studios have been treating the theatrical release schedule this year, which is, hey, no one's going to the theaters, not enough theaters are open, so we're moving this shit to next year. So, with that, Disney has decided to move Free Guy and Death on the Nile to next year, which leaves Wonder Woman 84 as the last major movie on the schedule for 2020. And that's December 25th. And any reasonable person would look at it and say, okay, this is moving. This Wonder Woman 84 is not going to stay. Right? And so, those of us who love the movie theater, let's just call it a wash. 2020 is over. Right? Which sucks. So, that also adds another wrinkle, which is Cinemark, one of the other major chains in the United States, has decided that they are going to allow certain movies, certain mid-budget or lower budget movies, to release on in theaters and not have to wait 3 months to go on VOD or anything. That's the plan. Certain movies, not all movies, and they're working out the specifics with the studios.
It makes me wonder if the theaters open again one day fully, or like they used to be, like how expensive it's going to be.
Right.
Also,
I don't think it's going to change much because they can't afford to raise prices when people barely want to go anyway.
True.
So that's kind of the situation we're dealing with. Everything's changing. COVID has accelerated something that is already going to happen anyway. Even when we were going last year and they had the biggest box office totals for a year ever because of Endgame and whatnot, not that many people were going to the theater. I mean, people were going, but it wasn't constant because we were in the movie theater 2-3 times a week, right? So this is just a trend that we were going to see anyway. Unfortunately, I think that this may not spell the end of the theater's experience, but I think it definitely means that we're just used to watching shit like Ready or Not, or um, what's another movie we saw? Borat 2. We can watch that at home. We don't need to see that at the theater, and we're getting used to it now. But people aren't ready to pay $30 per a pop for it either. So we're in a weird place right now.
For sure.
What do you think? Is this what does that mean for as far as you think about the theatrical experience and where it's going?
I mean, I truly believe that it will never be the same.
Yeah,
I don't think anything will ever be the same, but that's a little pessimistic of me. Maybe ask me again in a week.
Right.
I want it to go back, but people are so weird about germs now.
Yeah.
And most theaters aren't even that clean. Like, I used to always joke about when we go to AMC,
Mm-hmm.
like, the same bathroom was dirty with the same stain last week.
Yeah.
You know?
And they're dealing with, less money. There are, probably fewer people there. I mean, it's a thing. That's what I'm saying. That, yeah, I don't think it's going to go the same. We're going to be going for end games, and that's all.
Well, and right? I told you about, what's his name? Who does the Sand King?
Stephen King.
Stephen King going to the movies. There was an article about it. He went with his nephew or something, and his comment after was, he doesn't think it'll ever be the same.
Right.
And that the movie experience is just not what it used to be.
True. Yeah. That's unfortunate because, our AMC is pretty awesome. It's got the Dolby Theater.
Except for their bathrooms.
Yeah. I mean, I don't stay in the bathroom. I just go pee and come back.
Well, you don't have to sit.
True that. But, no, I mean, but their Dolby Theater is awesome. It's the best theater in town. I love watching all sorts of things on it. So, I don't know. But the theater experience is definitely not going to be the same. I don't think. They got to figure it out. All right, and we're back for our main segment. And this is where we usually have, I guess you would say, one main topic, and we talk about anything related to fandom, anything related to movies, video games, whatever strikes our fancy. And this week is, oddly enough, for our first week, we kind of picked a bit of a somber, but also celebratory topic. And we call it In Memoriam, kind of like in the Oscars, where we just sort of touch on the celebrities, the actors, singers, etc., that have passed away this year. And it's been a hell of a year, I'd say, to really talk about it. And we've kind of lost some big names. So, yeah, so we just thought we might honor them. And actually, we just want to give notice that a couple of these are actually big enough. I think we're going to actually do a whole segment for them later. So, in particular, one of them.
Chadwick?
Yes, Chadwick Boseman. So, without further ado, let's talk about the people that we've lost here in 2020. But first of all, whenever we talk about 2020, what do we have to say?
Coronavirus.
COVID. Fuck COVID.
Yeah, this has not been a fun time.
Yeah. So, like I said, what do we say in 2020? Fuck COVID. Fortunately,
we say Biden. 2020.
Yeah, we could say that too, but anyway, moving on. But yeah, so this year, man, it kind of sucks because we've lost some big names. Not everyone to coronavirus. Actually, some of them just to things. Old age.
Who we lost to coronavirus? One of the first celebrities we lost to coronavirus.
Oh, who's that?
Joe Diffie.
Joe Diffie. Oh man, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say most of you guys don't listen to country music. I barely do either, but I do like me some Joe Diffie. What do you want to call out his big hits, the ones that maybe people might know?
Well, there's Well, I got my first truck when I was 3, drove 100,000 miles on my knees.
A pickup man
I never
or something
knew
like that?
you were a pickup
Yeah, that was
man.
pretty good. I like that one.
I don't know. I've always been
What's the
Jody
one
fan.
about Prop Me Up by the Jukebox? I like that one. That one's good.
He's.
Let me say, I'm Johnny Come Lately to Joe Diffie's music.
Well, you know what he's most popular for?
What's that?
John Deere.
Oh yeah. That's a good one too. That's a really good one. If you like country music, I'm pretty sure in the '90s you liked Joe Diffie. So it really sucked. He did die of coronavirus.
I think he really was one of the first.
Yeah.
Celebrity wise.
He died, and he was 63, I believe. And
that's crazy. I didn't realize that old.
That was unfortunate.
Seeing that young.
Yeah, but it was really unfortunate. So rest in peace, Mr. Joe Diffie.
I hope that he got propped up beside the jukebox.
I hope so, but I think he just had a regular funeral.
It's too bad.
Yeah. So
give the man what he wants.
Yeah. So all right, who was next? I know it's a long list, but who's next?
We have a few lists, and I think we'll go over a couple, and then some will just call out, and obviously not everyone, because I don't think our list is everyone.
Right.
Because there was also another major death this year that had nothing to do with COVID, and that was Kobe Bryant.
Oh yeah, no doubt. And I don't even think I put that on a list for some whatever reason, because it wasn't entertainment. But yeah, you can't talk about 2020 deaths without talking about Kobe, the Black Mamba, an adopted son of Los Angeles, a 20-year veteran of the NBA, stayed with the same team, multiple rings. You have to talk about him as at least in the same conversation as greatest of all time, alongside LeBron and of course the great Michael Jordan. I mean, I wouldn't vote for him just because MJ is so awesome, but I mean, he's in the conversation.
Well, I think Michael Jordan stands for so much more than just basketball.
Yeah. Well, but I'm talking about just in terms of basketball prowess. Kobe was a successor, a worthy successor. He did it with Shaq. He did it without Shaq. I mean, the man, in his final game scored like 50-something points. So, I mean, it was tragic and really unfortunate the way he died and his daughter died. And, the basketball world misses him. He was a great elder statesman. And
all the other people that died in that. Right?
Yeah, it was, it sucked. It was what a terrible way to start 2020. We had no idea. That's
basically how we started 2020.
Yeah,
Who knew that there would be worse to come?
Yeah, we had no idea.
Everyone was like, oh shit, Kobe Bryant.
Yeah.
Coronavirus.
Right. All right, well, rest in peace. Black Mamba up there shooting threes with Jesus.
One of our sad ones, we've mentioned him already, because I think that he's one of our favorite actors and also plays one of our favorite characters, and that would be the late, great Chadwick Boseman.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. You talk about a loss. Talk about an untragic loss, an unfortunate loss. Just 43 years old.
Was that stage 3 colon
cancer? It was stage 4. I think it was stage 2 when he was diagnosed and was battling it for years privately and still pumping out like movies and doing great performances and just
showing up and not letting it defeat him.
Right. And I mean, his defining role, I mean, I will say T'Challa was his defining role. He's going to be remembered for that first and foremost. But my gosh, if you haven't watched any of the other things he's done, like 42. Say 42, if you haven't watched Marshall, if you haven't,
21 Bridges. We saw that
21 Bridges. It gets a lot of crap, but it was pretty good actually. I think it was really good. Yeah, but I think we could see the progress of that illness on him because we were talking about he was looking pretty thin in that one, but he still really had a great performance in there. And there was a story about the female co-lead. He sacrificed some of his pay so she could get equal pay to him. So it's just stuff like that. I mean, all you hear is just like nothing but good stuff about this guy. I mean, he was while he was battling cancer, was going to cancer wards for kids and was just, there. And you even saw when Black Panther came out, he broke down crying about some kids that died after they had seen an advanced screening of it. So, I mean, yeah,
he was going to beat this.
It was tough. Yeah, he was convinced he was going to beat it, but, unfortunately did not win the battle. And all we have left is just kind of memories and these great roles and performances.
This show is definitely super not funny.
Yeah, it's not super not funny. Hey, I don't want to laugh about people dying. It's not funny. But the thing about the super not funny show is we do what we want.
Well, I will say this.
Well, we do, but we do what we want, and what we want is to say, hey, these are people we're going to miss. People. Yeah, shout out. We're going to miss them. And definitely Chadwick Boseman, so rest in peace to.
And we will have like I said, a whole thing on him.
Right.
One day.
We'll talk about it, but we want to. Yeah. Well, I want to say rest in peace to Chadwick Boseman, T'Challa. Let me see if I can do it.
Cancer sucks, and you and I both know that on a personal level.
I want to say Wakanda forever. That's the worst Wakanda forever.
I'm doing a half one.
The worst salute ever, but I did it. Anyway.
Okay,
all right, so who's next?
All right, well, I'm going to cover 2 and 1.
Oh, okay.
And let me tell you why.
Okay.
SNL ties these two together. So I don't even know who to say first. It's, you know what? Hey, Alex, I'll take famous titties for $500. So, in the last 2 weeks, we lost Sean Connery first, and then Alex Trebek.
Come on, come on.
I saw a meme today that said something about
Celebrity Jeopardy in heaven.
Well, no, it was something about that bastard getting dying before him or something like that. He's like, you got there first, Trebek, or I got there first, Trebek, something like that. And it was an SNL, it was Daryl Hammond playing him. So. Right. But yeah, Sean Connery and Alex Trebek.
Well, let me say something about Trebek first. And actually, before I say anything, do you want to chime in first?
For who?
For either one of them. I mean, I'm going to go with Trebek first.
Well, I grew up watching Jeopardy, obviously. I've always liked Alex Trebek and pretending like I could win money on his show. Mm-hmm. I loved the parodies of him on SNL. He was just the family, the family evening person.
Right.
Some people would even watch him at dinner.
Right. Oh, yeah, I remember that.
So, and then Sean Connery, I grew up watching tons of movies with him in them. James Bond was a big thing in our house growing up.
Right.
So, yeah.
I mean, oh my gosh.
I think he might have been in one of the Robin Hoods I liked.
I do believe he was. I think he was.
One with Kevin Costner.
Yeah. I think he was King John.
So, I've always liked Sean Connery. He's always seemed like the cool dad. I never had.
The cool granddad. Like, he's the... Well, let me say, first Trebek, yeah, I grew up with Alex Trebek in Jeopardy, and I always did think that the Celebrity Jeopardy things were funny, but Trebek, he's always just seems like a guy that can corral a bunch of smart people.
He doesn't seem like he'd laugh, though, if, like, he farted.
What is a fart, Alex?
Right.
But yeah, but he had a sense of humor. If you watch Jeopardy pretty regularly, he had a good sense of humor. I don't think anybody disliked him, unlike certain people, Pat Sajak. Yeah, you don't even know. But yeah, Trebek was respected. He did the show for over 40 years. I mean, he is an institution. I think he will go down as one of the greatest, definitely top 5 game show hosts of all time.
I mean, he did it for years. I won't remember. Was it like 30 years?
Yeah, like the few times other people guest hosted. But no, I mean, it was over that. It was 40 because he was doing it back in the 80s. He lost his battle to
pancreatic cancer.
Yeah. And so, yeah, rest in peace, Alex Trebek. But Connery, I mean, you could make a whole show about this guy. a career spanning from the 50s. I mean, he retired about 10 or 12 years ago, something like that. Actually, no, more than that. He retired right after League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, so probably over 15 years ago. Just a storied career, a consummate gentleman, when he wasn't having problematic ideas about whether it's okay to slap a woman.
Well,
But I understand.
what did she say?
Yeah. What did Dave Chappelle say? I'm a victim blamer.
Oh,
what did she say? What was she? Yeah. But that aside, I mean, he, as people say, he's the man's man, the coolest motherfucker on the block, the coolest accent.
He looked like he smelled like a grandpa.
He looked like he wore Old Spice, but like
And
he was the
smelled
only
a cigar.
but he was the only person that actually should wear Old Spice like appropriately. He had the most awesome, hair. He was the coolest accent. I mean, he made Bond look like a badass, but also super sophisticated. He was in Highlander, for God's sake. He's an immortal. He was in The Rock, and he was awesome in The Rock. I mean, he was a dragon once. The dude did everything. He did Disney movies. He did a movie about freaking, what was it? Leprechauns. It's crazy. He did all sorts of things. Will be missed. We probably should do a retrospective of his stuff at some point in the future. But Godspeed, Sir Sean Connery. You will be missed.
And Alex Trebek.
And of course, Alex Trebek. What is? We miss you.
Another sad death happened this year.
All right. Well,
A pretty big one. It's actually someone who you didn't really even think about too often, or at least I didn't. But then you think about it, oh, I remember watching him on TV when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Little Richard.
Yes. Good golly, Miss Molly. Or
Goodness gracious, great.
that's
I know
that's
that's
not him.
That's
No,
what you made me think of, though.
What's the other one he did? Long Tall Sally got.
Tutti Frutti.
Yeah, he did Tutti Frutti. Long tongue Sally. Tutti Frutti. You've never seen the Little Richard movie? You should. It's awesome. It was a made-for-TV movie, but it's pretty good. But yeah, Little Richard. He is an He would have told you he's an originator, never to be duplicated. All the people stole from me. I started all this rock and roll stuff. In a way, he has a claim to fame to that. There's a lot of stuff that he did that other people imitated. He's just a great musician. He was very flamboyant. He was.
Doesn't he have a daughter? No, I'm thinking of Lionel Richie.
Yeah, he has a son. He later on he became saved and everything, but he was also
Was he drowning?
Yeah, he was drowning in sin.
Oh, Jesus.
Lord, help me, Lord. Anyway, yes, he became a minister and everything, but he was also one of
I didn't know that.
He was one of the few people knew he was at least bi or gay, whatever. He all that sort of stuff.
I also did not know that. I always just thought he was just super flamboyant.
Yeah, well, the super flamboyant part of that was
Well, some guys are just not gay.
Well, some of it also was to make it easier for him to get by around white people too. So I mean, got to remember when he was coming up, being too sexual as a black man, nobody wanted to have you doing that. I mean, you remember? Yeah, they didn't want you. They were fine with Elvis gyrating his hips, but maybe not Little Richard. So looking a little more
girlish. You can only shake little wieners at people, not big ones.
So, but yeah, that was really unfortunate. I believe he died of cancer.
Mm-hmm.
But he had lived a good life, and I'm glad that we had an opportunity to experience his music. I actually spent some time listening to his music when he passed away, and it's good.
It's good about doing that.
Yeah, I mean, give people flowers while they're here, but when they're gone, try to celebrate what they did. So, rest in peace, Little Richard, Big Little Richard.
I don't know.
So, okay. Anybody else?
Well, I'm not quite sure of who this person is, but I am sure of his work.
Right.
Like Alien, Lord of the Rings, Chariots of
Ah,
Fire. Fifth
yeah, I
Element.
know what you're talking about.
Ian Holm.
Yes. Hey, nerds out there, if you don't know this guy's name, first, shame on you. But second of all, you do know this guy's work. You've seen him. He was Bilbo Baggins. And he was Bilbo Baggins in Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit movies. The old Bilbo Baggins, not the young one. Obviously, that's Martin Freeman. He was in Alien. He was in Alien. 1979 Alien. He was in that movie as the murderous android. Well, like you said before, he was in Fifth Element. Not a huge role, but he was in Fifth. He's been in a lot of things. Plus, he's been in a lot of British TV shows. So, I think the man brought a lot to any role that he landed in. It wasn't like exactly prolific, but he was in a lot of things. And like I said, nerds, you should recognize this man.
Hey, all those movies are very popular.
Right. I mean, he's Bilbo Baggins. If that's for no other reason, he's Bilbo Baggins. You should remember.
Since Lord of the Rings marathon coming up.
Why not? We should get the Hobbits. Maybe on Black Friday. And we'll watch Ian Holm. What do you say? Hobbit it up. But yeah. But he lived a good long life. I believe he was, 88?
Oh, wow.
Or something like that. He was in his 80s. So he lived a good long life.
I wish and I hope that we live that long.
Yeah. Well, Fabricans do have a long shelf life. Look at me.
Getting a little dusty.
See, I don't get any gray up here. What?
Ask on that.
Yeah. But,
all right, well, rest in peace, Ian Holm.
Yeah, exactly. Rest in peace, Bilbo. He's going to the Shire.
Hope he's getting all his pipe weed.
Pipe weed.
Alright. Another big for me. I think maybe for you too.
Mm-hmm.
But I loved Jerry Stiller.
Jerry Stiller.
Serenity
now! Serenity now!
I didn't see a lot of his older stuff.
Right.
I fell in love with Jerry Stiller on King of Queens. He was the dad.
Right.
And he is hysterical. I also love his son, Ben Stiller, and he's been in, I think, almost all of Ben Stiller's movies I've seen.
Right.
Zoolander.
Zoolander.
Heartbreak Kid.
What do you say in Zoolander? My prostate's the size of a grapefruit.
Right. He also, too, one of my favorite movies, you might not remember this, Hairspray.
Yes. John Travolta. The remake from the early 2000s.
And he plays Mr. Pinky.
Right.
So I will miss Ben Stiller. I like him. He was America's granddad on King of Queens. That show was awesome, in my opinion.
I did not watch that show. Did watch some Seinfeld. That's why.
Oh yeah, I knew him from that too. That's why
Mr. Costanza, and he's quite funny in that one. But
I didn't appreciate who he was though when I saw him as Mr. Costanza.
Right, and my understanding is he had a long career in going back 50 years or something like that. Well,
he is also a faithful man. Was married to the same woman.
Right. Yeah, until she died in 2015, yep. I understand. So,
he's a good guy.
And
love his kids.
Yeah. Ben Stiller's pretty damn funny, and
his daughter acts too. His daughter showed up a couple times in King of Queens.
Really, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he tried giving her work too.
Right.
Like if he was on something and they had a little extra.
Right.
His daughter seemed to usually fill the extra spot.
Okay.
Nothing big.
Well, I just think it's it's unfortunate. Again, he was up in age, so he lived a good life. I don't really get sad about people that have had their time. It really.
I still do because I hate that the time ends.
Yeah, I'm just more bothered by people taken away too early, and 43 or 30 something or whatever. That's and there. I mean, that list of people who have passed away. That it's pretty unfortunate. Some of the people that have gone. I think there's like 15-year-old on that was in a movie that was very well received. So I know this isn't. It's a super not funny. Sorry, people. But
Hey, but we gotta pay our respect where it's due.
I think it's just nice to stop and acknowledge the passing of some people who maybe they don't directly impact us, but their work and their movies and their music, all that kind of means something to us. It makes the fabric of our lives a little richer.
Rest in peace, Jerry Stiller.
Exactly.
All right, the next one. I actually don't know much. I sit here and think about how much I love country music and how much it's influenced my life.
Mm-hmm.
And I could not even name a Kenny Rogers song.
That's fair.
I know that my mom liked Kenny Rogers, and I know that he was big in the country community.
Right.
But I am not familiar with Kenny Rogers' music, but he did pass away.
Right.
And it was very sad
Well,
in the country community.
Well, I know you're familiar with Kenny Rogers Roasters. I always just remember Kenny Rogers Roasters from Mad TV. Was it Will Sasso that would be Kenny Rogers on that?
Yeah, I think so.
But I don't know much of his music either. I'll always remember him on what was it? We Are the World. He had a really great part on We Are the World as a featured singer. Also, I just recently listened to a song by him called Lady that Lionel Richie wrote for him, and it's really great, actually.
I'll check it out.
He deservedly was a star. I've also remember the other song I know by him is a song he did with Dolly Parton.
It's with Reba?
He did a Christmas song with Dolly Parton, where they're talking about where they're talking about meeting for Christmas in Tahoe at a ski thing. And it's about having like a winter break fling or something like that. It's actually a really nice Christmas song actually, and I think you'd like it a lot.
We do love Christmas in our house.
So those are the songs I remember but we can't deny he was a big name in country music.
When I hear Kenny Rogers, I actually hear Kenny Loggins.
Yeah, not the same person.
Definitely not.
Anyway.
All right, well, rest in peace, him.
Rest in peace.
Last but not least, and definitely not the only people that have died, but these are the people we wanted to cover. Fred Willard.
Fred Willard.
He is hysterical.
You know him.
One of my favorite movies, Best in Show.
Yes. I mean, gosh, what else? I know he always shows up as a very specific kind of Fred Willard role.
Well, like you said, it's like one of those, oh, look, Fred Willard's in
and there's a very, even when he showed up he would show up on TV.
Yeah.
And,
hosting things.
Yeah, well, he'd show up just as a bit role in a sitcom. And it didn't matter what I think he was on Family Matters once.
I think he might have been on Everybody Loves Raymond.
He would just show up for certain things, and he always brought something really wonderful to it. Like, usually he was, kind of a bumbler or something like that, or he'd be like a smarmy dude, but he was really you kind of had to laugh at him. Yeah, or he'd have all these sideways comments. Like in Best in Show, he was just like, he didn't know crap about anything that they were doing, and he was just commentating out of his ass, and it was just
it worked.
And it worked. It's hilarious. He would do stuff like that. He's the sort of guy when you would cast someone who, is full of crap, but like you just can't be mad at him while he's being full of crap, or he just he would say hilarious one-liners or whatever. Just a consummate professional. I never heard anything bad about him. He always made things better when he showed up. He's the sort of guy when he showed up and somebody like, hey, it's Fred Willard. It's that guy, and you're just happy to see him because you know what you're getting from that. So there's something to be said about that. Again, he had a long career, so it sucked when he passed. A lot of people were quite unhappy. And for good reason. Good guy, apparently. And we will miss him.
Along with several other people.
Like I said, my God, if you want to depress yourself, go look at Wikipedia.
Kirk Douglas.
Yeah, Kirk Douglas, man, 103 years old. I'm not super familiar with much of his work, but he is an old school movie star. And just he was trucking along for 103 years, man. I mean, my God, let me get to that, you know.
Oh,
I'll take it. So he passed natural causes, and 103 years. Hey, give me some of that.
Mm-hmm.
Give me some of that Douglas, Douglas genetics. I want to live that long. So.
Well, Mo, that's what I got for that.
Yeah, like I said, there's many more that we didn't cover, and if you have any that you wanted to shout out, you know, shoot a comment down there. Let us know what you thought about the various people, celebrities that have passed away that meant something to you, that like these people meant to us. Well, we want to say rest in peace to all those. All of those people down on that list, but also to all the people who have passed away this year, particularly from COVID. We're going to get through this, folks, but in the meantime, let's just celebrate the people that made our lives a little better. All right, so moving on to segment number 3, and that will be our weekly distractions, because the world, you know, we need things to distract us away.
Well.
Yeah, exactly. The things that we do every week to just kind of entertain ourselves. And so, Jen, you want to start us off? What you've been distracting yourself with this week?
Well, I've been watching Roseanne.
Roseanne, are you talking about the revival?
No way, take me back, 1989. Learning about what masturbation and all that stuff is. Yeah, they talk about all those kind of topics.
Say what?
Yeah, it's all real. Marriage, kids and puberty, all that stuff.
Yeah. I watched it a bit. I think you were more into it when you were younger than I was. But I remember watching it. You know.
Well, it still holds up in my opinion. I'm in season 4. I started it last week.
I will agree. You know, I was sort of sideways watching it because, you know, I'm doing other things while you're doing that. And also you're watching while I'm at work. And so, yeah, I mean, hey, it tugs at the heartstrings.
I can't wait to watch the new stuff, and I'm kind of sad that Roseanne Barr messed up and got kicked off the show pulled off the show. But I am loving what I'm watching now. But I watched that, and I watched Miss Congeniality for my movie for the week. Right. That was good. I love Sandra Bullock. Yeah. It's a movie that still holds true. Michael Caine's in it. Mm-hmm.
I don't think I've ever seen that. I think I've seen bits of it.
What's his name from Star Trek?
Shatner?
Yeah, he's in it. It's a good movie. It's got a great cast.
Yeah. Now, Shatner, he's the host.
Yeah, he's the host of Miss Congeniality.
Right. That makes sense. He has that sort of that air about him where he could be.
He really hams it up. Yeah. It's good.
Anybody else notable in that besides those people?
Benjamin Bratt.
Okay. Oh, yes, because she's an FBI agent. Right.
Right.
Okay. I remember that. Why didn't
I don't remember the lady's name who's, I guess, considered the villain, but I know she's someone who was popular around that time. Right. Mm-hmm. I can't recall her name, but great movie.
So you've been doing a nostalgia
yeah, things from my past.
Yeah.
Old dreams, right?
Right.
Old dreams die hard.
Or they pop back up 30 years later because they were on a sitcom.
Right.
Yeah. Well, that's cool, and so.
You and I have been watching one other thing too.
Yeah,
we're probably going into that.
Right. Well, I was going to say that you would say, go check it out. Where were you watching these, by the way, so people can know where to see it?
You can watch Roseanne right now on 2 different platforms. You can watch it on Peacock,
right,
or you can watch it on Prime, which is what I've been watching it on.
Right.
Now I started it off on Peacock, then I forgot where I started it and found it. It was on Prime. Miss Congeniality.
Was that on Hulu? Maybe.
I think
Netflix?
that was actually on Peacock too.
Peacock, okay. So we need to actually have an episode where we just talk about the streaming platforms. Cause,
I've been enjoying Peacock, and the commercials don't bother me.
Yeah, and I mean, we lucked out and we got the limited commercials one. I'm sure if you had the free, it's probably a pain in the ass, just like Hulu is when
One
it's free.
movie I watched let me watch all the commercials at the beginning.
Nice.
And then I didn't have any interruptions.
Right. I did that also, and part of the, my weekly distraction, I watched A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, the documentary, which I've seen before, but I wanted to watch it again.
I didn't know that.
Well, I watched it kind of like, when I was working on some stuff. I didn't pay a huge amount of attention to it because I've seen it, but I obviously recommend that. Miss Rogers is awesome, and that's a great documentary. It's a crime that it didn't get nominated for an Oscar that year, but just because in our time and the world we live in, it's hard to have some optimism about people, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that makes me optimistic about people. So I watched that, and and I watched a little bit of that Roseanne with you, and it's pretty cool. And we were also watching this, and this I kind of started watching this because of some other YouTubers that I watch were saying it's good. We watched Blood of Zeus on Netflix, which is an original, I guess you call it. They say it's an anime. I question that, but okay. It's an 8-episode limited series on Netflix.
I liked it.
Yeah. It's clearly aiming to have another season.
I know you kept fussing about the animation, but I thought the story was good. The animation was fine to me.
Yeah, it was serviceable. Sometimes it was not good, I have to be honest. Sometimes it was really awesome. There is some great action in that. In fact, I'm just saying, just go watch it. I do want to do a full-on review of it, so maybe, I'll go back and do a full-on review.
2 thumbs up for me.
Yeah, I think you should watch it. It's just unfortunately very short.
And 2 toes.
Yeah. Besides that, I was doing a rewatch of Star Trek Lower Decks, and in anticipation of doing an actual review for it. But I will also say, go watch it if you like Star Trek. New or old Trek, I think it's pretty good, and also very funny. And if you like Rick and Morty, you can get something out of it too. So, do that. Those are our weekly distractions. Oh yeah, I do have, one other thing I was doing was I was reading a comic book called Genius by Mark Bernardin. And it was, again, kind of enjoying it. I'm going to do a review of that also. So stay tuned for those reviews. But you got anything that you're looking forward to this week? I know we had said we're going to start our holiday movie watching, right?
Yes, and I plan on watching more Roseanne.
Right.
I'm
Binge
not
that
get a lot
thing.
of time to do that.
Yeah, binge the shit out of that thing.
Binging the shit out of it.
Yeah.
I don't know. We had started Schitt's Creek. Maybe we'll revisit some
dude, it's so... Oh, gosh, it's so much stuff going on right now. Like, if we don't watch... If we got, like, a list of, like, 30-something odd Christmas movies, and if we don't watch enough... We don't watch so many per week, we're not going to get to them before Christmas.
Oh, and in case any of y'all don't know, that is Mo and I's favorite holiday.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, any of you that want to be like, why are you doing it's not even Thanksgiving, shut up.
We're going to celebrate that
that's
too,
that hey,
Christmas makes us happy.
Yeah, that's because I want to. That's why it's happening. You don't like it.
Mo.
I need to regain my Christmas zen. Christmas is awesome, and I got my tree up, so fuck off if you don't like it.
I don't wanna like Christmas.
Do it. Let's go. We're doing that thing. Anywho, so yeah, we got Christmas movies to watch, and I'm sure we got some other things. We got to start watching Mandalorian. We got to start watching Star Trek Discovery. There's so much shit to watch. How are we going to do it? So dramatic.
Alrighty.
Anyway, those are our weekly distractions. You guys check it out if you want to. Shoot us your comments. What are you watching? Hey, let us know. We want to know what you Fabricans and fleshbags are into. Yeah. Well, that'll wrap it up for the Super Not Funny show this week. We hope that all you fleshbags and Fabricans had a great time. And, we're still a work in progress here at the show, and we'd love to hear from you. So if you got a comment, complaint, a constructive criticism, or you just want to shoot the breeze, hit us up on email, supernotfunnyshow@gmail.com, or on Twitter, supernotfunnys1. We'd love to hear from you. Well, just come back and join us next week. We're going to be talking about pilot season. I bet you guys don't know what that is, but we'll tell you all about it in the coming week. Well, I'm Mo Thépuppét, and for Jen Thépuppét, thanks for joining us. We hope to see you again next week on the Super Not Funny Show. Peace out. I'm still here, aren't I? Now seriously, go. Peace.